Hey, you geeks! Well, The Dragon Prince's The Mystery of Aaravos Season 4 dropped last week, and it was good. Though I think we need to distinguish between what we got and what we were promised. We were promised a story about a fallen star.
Catch a falling star and put it in your pocket.
What we got was a solid season of content that explored the world of Zadia, expanded on our characters from when we last saw them 2 years ago, and was a highly entertaining exposition dump for the adventure to come in following seasons. Although unexpected, it was enjoyable, and fortunately not the retread of Paradise Lost that I had feared. Anywho, now let's spoilerifically break down what we got in terms of characters, world building, and plot. Callum. Our mage boy really only got half an arc this season. He starts missing Rayla.
You still love her, don't you?
And her return complicates things.
I already told you, I don't want to talk.
And things stay complicated for the rest of the season. As for his skills, Callum has reached general competency, but he's still relatively incompetent compared to Aaravos.
The human mage, already tainted by darkness, and destined to play right into my hands.
Though he inherits, what's-his-face's staff.
That was Ibis, the great sky mage.
Yes, Ibis's death. Such a tragedy.
Yes, very sad. Anyway, it got me thinking.
Gaining the staff was not a new skill that he unlocked, just something he inherited. Something that he was willing to sacrifice to save the world.
I offer this staff. It was given to me, despite everything wrong humans have ever done with magic.
Though due to the lack of plot time revolving around him gaining this object, it's not the most meaningful of his sacrifices. What I view as Callum's more important sacrifice, the show turned into a joke?
All I'm asking is that if he takes control of me again, you have to kill me. I need you to promise.
Yet I think we are getting peeks at what I hope will be Callum's arc moving forward. Him and his friends working against Aaravos, which is in a way what they've always done, but this time more directly, with more flashy magic. Rayla. I've been wary of the whole Through the Moon story that set up Rayla's departure for a revenge quest. I think the pre-release chapters did a good job of catching people up, but the show doesn't really explain why she came back, and Callum points out that her side quest was pointless.
Oh, so you disappeared for 2 years for no reason at all.
One could infer she came back for Callum while putting her revenge quest on the back burner, though when her prey was finally spotted, she dropped Callum hard.
I have to go after him.
I know.
She does get a resolution to this plot when Claudia finally tells her what happens to her parents and uncle.
I have someone who's important to you too. Actually, maybe 3 someones.
And now Rayla has the coins. So her goal for the next season is clearly established. Free her family. Which raises the question, what if freeing her family comes at the cost of her friends? I don't think she would actively betray them to Aaravos, but abandon them for quote-unquote their own good remains an option on the table. Ezrin. Well, the Boy King's character arc is quite abrupt. By organizing the Dragon Queen's visit, we see his naivete pushed to the limit.
This is a happy day and it's going to be the start of a great era of peace.
And see him grow to understand that not everything can be bright and happy all the time.
It hurts! I feel pain about this and I am angry!
So, after that, the council politely gets him to leave the country.
The world needs you right now. The High Council can take care of the people, I promise you.
And he's back to being just a very high-ranked member of this D&D campaign. Though I guess all groups need someone with high charisma and negotiating skills.
We offered gifts that meant a lot to us, but the truth is, they don't mean anything to you.
Seeing him offer up his father's crown was touching, but you really needed to have read the pre-release chapters to pick up on that foreshadowing. Otherwise, it just seemed like an artistic choice to change the crown from gold to steel. Ezran has grown, but he hasn't grown cynical. And that is the key to this show's charm and why his character can achieve so much. Soren has surprisingly high charisma stats for a Kingsguard.
It's kind of the humans to bring their court jester on the journey.
Not a jester. I'm the head crown guard.
I'm very glad that his character kept on its pro-dragon path, befriending a drake and being a good foil to Claudia's insecurity.
Claudia, I don't think we have the same bone feelings.
I was scared for a hot moment that through either rock-induced amnesia or just seeing his father again would cause Thorin to revert back to Team Bad Guy.
Dad is dead, Claudia. You don't have to do what he wants anymore.
But I suppose Soren stabbed or thought he'd stabbed his father in the last finale, so his allegiance to Team Good is clearly deeper than, Jaime Lannister's in Game of Thrones. Claudia has graduated to varsity squad villainy.
I didn't even know it could do that.
Claudia really knows her shit.
And yet, they tease us hard with Claudia's potential redemption arc, starting off with her basically having sold her soul to Aaravos these past 2 years.
I had to do things I never imagined I would be able to do.
Yet, she seems to have found love with Terry. Together, Claudia inspires him to do bad things, and he inspires her to do good things.
But what you just did, the way you tricked that Moonshadow elf, it was just cruel.
Though I don't think she's yet aware of how hypocritical her loving an elf is while hating elven kind.
You'll always be a human to them. You'll always be less.
She's kind of the opposite of the architect in the Sunfire camp. So if the architect can be swayed to build a brighter future, then why not Claudia? Terry, who's the most lovable Earthblood elf? It's like everyone's already forgotten that he killed Ibis.
I couldn't let him hurt you.
So it's odd that he's the moral compass of Team Claudia. Really, he is far too wholesome to be hanging out with the villains.
How do I deal with these feelings?
I will tell you how.
Yes, please, I need to know.
Get a grip.
We never really find out why he joined Team Claudia, besides that Terry has some identity issues.
The other elves saw me as a doe, but I knew. I always knew that I was a buck.
And judging by how soft and understanding we know Earthbloods to be, doesn't surprise me that Terry would leave them.
The Riders are known for viciously protecting their turf from trespassers, and then throwing them into a hole called the Pit of Despair.
Perhaps Claudia was the first to accept him as how he saw himself, and that can be very attractive. He, at least, hasn't completely beaten up his conscience and tied it in a corner.
I'm gonna be strong enough to do whatever I need to do and have feelings.
Good for him. Aaravos.
Sir not appearing in this film.
Easter eggs. Everyone is going crazy about the yip yip.
Yip yip?
And not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Also, apparently, Aang's glider and Sokka's boomerang are in the Cave of Wonders. But let's not forget the other media the show is drawing from.
And sky sapphires have sky magic inside.
You don't say! Sky magic powered by sapphires and 3 star gems.
Legend says there are only 3 quasar diamonds in the whole world.
Where have I heard that before? Not to mention this scene.
Do it, Callum! It's the key of Aaravos. No good will come of it.
Yeah, I know when I said that the Dragon Prince had successfully adapted the whole physical manifestation of original sin plot, I meant the creepy bug friend, not the cube. Though we must note that the creepy bug friend has hatched into a butterfly golem, or rather, a butterfly golem. Sunfire elves. Amaya has always been out doing her own thing in this show, but usually her plot intersects with the A storyline at some point. This season, she and the Sunfire Queen are completely detached from the A storyline. On the bright side, I think it is interesting to have a plot following the waging of peace between the humans and the elves, going from one queen who says this,
"Humans bring nothing but trouble, and you are like all the rest,"
to the next queen who says this,
"You asked her to wrestle with you."
Has to give the Sunfire elves more than a little cultural whiplash. Plot-wise, I like the idea of the human who likes helping elves, but cannot love the elf in front of her.
Oh, you ungrateful elves. We humans are here to help you rebuild.
That's an interesting dynamic that presents a compelling moral quandary for the queen, who of course finds common ground between the two factions.
"Under the guidance of our priests, you will build a shrine here. One where soul candles may burn without threat to the camp."
It's a nice moment to see Janae's vision of the future, which is immediately undercut by the queen's brother going off into mustache, or rather goatee twirling villain territory.
Janae walks a path that leads to the end of our history. The only choice is to finish her chapter.
In a show which I've credited with writing complex villains, we just have a guy who doesn't like change because grumble grumble tradition.
Ah! Never heard that one before.
And that is what finally cracked my suspension of disbelief. Yes, I could tear gaping holes in this plot, but the biggest one, and I found, is that it wasn't even mentioned until the final battle that her brother was a mage. That would have been useful to know. Oh. Is this going to tie into the A plot line? Has Aaravos been playing the Sunfire Mage against the humans? If so, how? That is the sort of question the Dragon Prince in the past has played up so well. Yet for this season, Aaravos' influence on the plot has remained a mystery. The mystery of Aaravos. Seriously, where is Aaravos? He gets one scene, and it's wonderfully creepy.
So these are the champions you've gathered to try and stop me?
If we count fun story time with the Dragon Queen, which is really just one of the Dragon Prince's exquisite exposition dumps, and Sauron's conversation with Claudia,
I know about Aaravos.
then Aaravos is up to 3 scenes. The Not Crow Lord gets more screen time. Hardly significant in a season where Aaravos is plastered all over the promotion art. I guess we were only promised that the mirror would shatter And it did. We just assumed that that meant Aaravos was getting out, rather than it meaning that he closed the window into his lair, so now no one has any idea what he's doing. I guess that is the mystery. But the show doesn't dwell too much on this mystery. Instead, the second half focuses on the D&D style quest it has our heroes on to find the
Dragon in the mountain.
And it's very D&D. We have our roving band of adventurers.
Huzzah, magic powers!
On a blatantly convoluted magic quest. The first 3 seasons were less blatant. The overall concept had been very simple.
We have to return this egg. We have to keep it safe and carry it to Zadia.
But then things just kept happening. This season, they put a big neon sign on how convoluted the plot is.
There are 3 levels between here and the lair of Rex Igneous. I call them Zones of Peril.
Now, I like cheeky humor now and again. It was just a different feel from the first 3 seasons. Also had a lot of first season energy. Lots of setup with minimal payoff, which I guess wasn't too surprising given the clean end of season 3, followed by the 2-year break and the new title sequence makes this feel like a completely new show. There is just enough payoff to keep me invested, though I was holding out hope that season 4 would mark the midpoint of the Dragon Prince's 7-season arc, ending with a paradigm shift, something like Aaravos being unleashed. Instead, we got a rather good first season of the Dragon Prince's 2nd arc, which will last 4 seasons. All in all, this was some of the most fun I've had watching a fantasy show this year. Granted, that's not a high bar, but I'm looking forward to diving deeper with what we have. The creators of Dragon Prince clearly care about this show, and even if it doesn't always deliver, their care keeps me watching. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you would like to see more. Your patronage is greatly appreciated.